Hey, my name's James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about the spring statement. It's just been delivered in Parliament. What impact is this going to have on house prices, the economy and mortgage interest rates as well? We're going to break down exactly what happened, what the impacts are and give you some opinions on how this all could play out. Now, if you're new around here and you haven't done already, do subscribe to the channel over there and hit the bell notification. We're on the way to 40,000 subscribers. Why should you subscribe? Because we give you the latest property news, investment news, house price and interest rate news as soon as it happens. And let's get some more views on this video by smashing like, tickling like, doing something to that like button. That helps with the YouTube algorithm. And then press share, WhatsApp, email or Facebook message it to somebody and let's get the message out. Now, on this video, I'd love it if you commented and gave us your opinion on certain parts of this spring statement. Conservatives are calling it a budget. But yeah, do get involved in the conversation below. Keep it polite and keep it kind in the comments, but do definitely post a comment at least. So, what's been going on? Well, there's a lot that they went through. Firstly, defence. Now, this isn't really related to property, but it does impact us in the UK. So the defence budget, we knew this already, is gone up to 2.5%. That's because of global instability. It's because the Americans are pressuring Europe to step up and actually secure their own region. And so that is a big increase, and that's many billions of pounds. And they're saying that that will also carry on to increase over time as well. So that was interesting. Next, let's talk inflation. So the OBR was quoted a lot in this. And so the OBR came out with their forecasts, looking at what this spring statement said, what their predictions are based of what will happen once all of this stuff is implemented. And so inflation is expected to drop to 2.1% in 2026 and 2% in 2027. So let's relate that to property because that's what this channel's about. Well, that's good. That means that if we get to those numbers, then interest rates can come down. And so that will be really positive for a lot of homeowners, a lot of buyers, a lot of people that are maybe on variable rates as well at the moment. So that forecast is something fairly positive. So that's where we want to see things, and that's the target is 2%. If it's at 2.1%, it's irrelevant really. It's close enough to the target, and that's what we want to see. So inflation is expected to come back down due to what, the government not causing too many problems. Now, one thing that could be a bit of a problem on that, which was mentioned, is the Trump tariffs. So boring to talk about it. It feels so far away, but it impacts us so close to home. The Trump tariffs have their next big update on April 2nd, and it's still really uncertain what exactly will happen. You see Trump in interviews. One day he's saying it's going to be 25% blanket. Then he's saying it's going to be favourable terms for friends and allies. It changes so much. It's like the weather. And so those tariffs could put a spanner in the work for European inflation, UK inflation, and even American inflation as well. What we really want is free trade like we have already. That's the best policy, in my opinion. Benefits. So this is something that they want to cut a lot. And so the benefits that the UK spends on, like the dole and stuff like that, is going down 3.4 billion down. So that's a big drop. That saves us a few pennies. Obviously, that's going to hit a lot of people very hard as well. Hopefully, it's fought out. And yeah, it just encourages some people back to work and doesn't impact the people that just can't work. So I really do hope that is fought out well. That could impact your tenants though. So if you are a landlord and your tenants get their benefits cut, the ability to pay your rent is going to suffer off the back of that. So that's a consideration here as well. Growth. So GDP massively down, the forecast on that. So it was expected to be 2%, and that's been slashed to 1% for this year. That's not good. Really shows the economy isn't got much legs in it to expand or do much well this year. We started with some January data being revised down. We could go into a recession. 1% isn't much at all. It really isn't something that fills you with positivity going forward. So yeah, 1% growth forecast, then it's expected to get to around 2%. Still nothing to be singing about. We need to really look at getting the UK economy going. We have such bad policies in this country that we're over-regulating businesses. We don't encourage businesses to come here. So expensive for energy, so expensive for tax. Why would you set a business up here? That's why big businesses are all going to America. There's hardly any in the whole of Europe, and that's because it's over-regulated. And yeah, that's why you'll see that we just aren't growing where we should be. So yeah, not great growth forecasts, but we'll keep an eye on that. Now, they said they're going to build 2 billion in affordable houses, which is 18,000 affordable properties, social housing. Does that happen? That one possibly could happen. 18,000 isn't a huge amount for a government to do. For any one home builder, it's a huge amount. But the government could collaborate with the builders to get that done. Possible. Governments often overpromise and under-deliver. So let's see where we get on that one. But that's one thing that they were talking about is 18,000 affordable homes. That is still a drop in the ocean. We've done some content on the amount of people that are waiting for social housing is in the hundreds of thousands. So that would help some people. It is better, but we need more than 18,000. So that would move something a little bit forward. This was interesting. You're going to be £500 better off per year on average. Wow. Okay, so that's what you're going to be better off. How quickly? Well, by 2030. That's mental. Like £500. People are going to be £500 better off. And Rachel Reeves is singing that like it's something to be proud of. £500 better off in 5 years is terrible. Now, that is after inflation. So, yes, it is slightly better off. But terrible. Like, imagine £100 a year better off when people are really struggling still with the cost of living. So they're not saying things are going to get massively better at all. They're saying in the next 5 years, you're going to feel £100 better off a year. That is absolutely crazy that that's what we've got to look forward to. And that was something that they were singing as incredible and momentous at the moment. No tax rises. That was good. And that includes stamp duty. We did a video this week. There was some talk that that was something that some people were considering. Stamp duty is off the table for now, but could come back at the budget later this year. So, sorry, just checking my pen. That one ran out. So yeah, no tax increases is good. That's good for businesses, and it's good for individuals as well. No stamp duty increase, no inheritance tax increase, nothing there, which was good. Tax evasion. How are they going to solve tax evasion? Well, the robots are going to do it. So tax evasion, they are going to use artificial intelligence to fix tax evasion. And they believe that they will cut it by 20% in the next few years using artificial intelligence. They're also going to shrink the size of the government, shrink the amount of employees that work for the government, also using AI. So that will be interesting to see how that one works. Unemployment. This one will impact houses. So the unemployment is expected to go, it's currently at 4.3%, and it's expected to rise in the next year to 4.5%. So unemployment is expected to rise. That means more people are going to need social housing. That means more people are not going to be able to afford your rent. Not great. And so, yeah, that's where we're expecting things to go in the next year. Now, this is an interesting one. So they said, again, about building homes. I think this number has dropped. So comment below if this is correct. I'm sure they said they were going to build 1.5 million houses. That dropped today to 1.3 million homes built. And what's also dropped is that, and so that will be a 40-year high. If we build 1.3 million homes by 2030, that pace will be at a 40-year high. Great, good. Now here's an interesting fact as well. The population is going to grow by 2030 by 2.1 million, nearly double the properties that we're building. So we're actually going to be no better off at all. Now, obviously, you'll get some people that will share, you'll get families and stuff like that. But building 1.3 million houses when your population is going to grow by 2.1 million isn't really fixing the housing crisis, in my opinion. I think you're going to need to do something a little bit more drastic. Here's something that was admitted as well. In 2020, don't need to put it up there. In 2025 and 26, so this year and next year, house building is going to be at a 13-year low. At a 13-year low. So we are going to build 1.3 million houses by 2030. But the first 2 years of that, we're going to have the lowest house building for 13 years. Doesn't really stack up, does it? But we'll see how that ends up. Governments always never hit that target. And the fact that the population is going to grow by 2.1 million people in that time means the housing crisis is not getting resolved anytime soon. What else is there? That's pretty much it. So what do we think about interest rates? Well, look, interest rates, this data for inflation is good if we hit that. So inflation did come down today as well to 2.8%. It was expected to be 2.9%. That's good. And we're moving in the right direction on that. The best possible outcome is on April 2nd, no tariffs happen and this trade war ends. That will give more certainty. That will cause inflation to possibly drop later this year as well. So that would be a good result as well. But look, next year, if the inflation target is hit, which it could well be, because all the increases could be bundled into this year and then that drops off next year, that's why the number will drop, then we could be looking realistically at some decent rate cuts next year. We'll see what the markets say in the next few days. You might see some lenders cutting rates on the back of this forecast inflation data, and we might see the Bank of England revisions coming out on what cuts they expect for this year. House prices, I think this kind of shows that we still will have a lack of house prices all the way through till 2030. Our population is going to grow significantly in that time, and we won't build 1.3 million houses. In fact, you're looking at the data, 2025 and 2026 is going to be the lowest house building for 13 years. So that indicates to me that you're going to have a fairly robust housing market, and I don't think it's possible for a crash in that time, but we'll see. Let me know what you think of this budget. Do you think there's anything good in there, or do you think it's all pretty negative? Do comment below. Do smash the like button, do subscribe, and check out all the other content on my channel as well, including this video right here.